Hello everyone, my name is Mason Victoria, and I am a video game composer and audio designer based in Toronto, Canada. Today I want to show a little composition demo I created using FMOD in tandem with the Zombie Toys Unity demo found in the Unity Asset Store. But before I talk about it, I'm just going to let it play out for a bit. And so that is the completed track. A few things that you may have noticed. At the beginning here, this section will keep looping until the game actually starts. That's because the player actually gets to choose their character off the top. And since that is a variable, I had to make sure that the composition looped that entire section until that choice is made. These little green lines actually show you where the transition points are. They are quantized to make sure that when it actually jumps to the next section, it isn't abrupt or really odd. Once the game is started, we get a very small lead-in section and the ability to vary our actual melody. So that's what this multis window was that I was trying to point out during the performance. If I decide to make different versions of the melody, I could easily drag and drop it in here, so then it will randomize who will be playing the melody. I turned this off for the purposes of the demo, but I have a 60% chance of moving on. In this case, it did move on. Because of that, it adds some variety to the actual arrangement of the piece, and since the player will be playing for an X amount of time, I want to make sure that the composition didn't just loop around a single orchestration. You'll notice that the multi has changed into counterpoint lines. In this example, there are prints of brass. And you can already hear the difference in that. When the player's health hits below half, then we get into a nice interesting transition period, which we can see here. In the transition period, you could notice that there is a little bit of bleed over, and then the new piece or section that performs, and then it immediately goes into the destination, which in this case is the modulation. So this is just a way to turn the key around. Let's see how that sounds. Great. We have more counterpoint melodies happening here. In this case, it's just actually the melody playing right here in the middle. And when the character actually decides, well, I guess it's not a choice, when the character dies, then it gets launched into this death section. Here's an example of that. You'll notice that there is some choir playing. I could show you that over here in the percussion section. The good thing about having these in individual stems is that I'm able to change the probability of each individual instrument playing. And so that's what I kind of did, just to change up orchestration. Sometimes violin 1 will play, sometimes they will not. More so than something like the viola or the cello or something along the lines of that. Same thing is said for brass. But anyways, let's go back here. Once a character dies, then it gets immediately shot to this section. So all of these parameters are tied in through audio implementation and code. And it's pretty awesome that FMOD actually allows you to play with these parameters in their version of a DAW, because it allows you to really experiment to see if what you're doing is working. So I hope that inspires you to try out FMOD, try creating a composition in a dynamic way. As for me personally, it was a very interesting challenge to create a composition, knowing that it would be looping back and forth, and that when the loop comes back around, I really have to think about dynamics and how to get back to the beginning of that specific loop. Thanks for watching.